play. And spawning on the top of Star Station Tournament Edition, our Green Protoss player, Howl.
And his opponent, spawning on the bottom right-hand side, and Manbon, I hate you right now.
I'm so excited.
We have Arazath.
It's a PvP, man. What do you say?
4-gate wars? Probably not, actually, anymore. I don't know. I'm honestly under the impression that, again, probably the player that expands first is probably going to lose in the long run, but maybe for various reasons. So we'll have to see.
Unless both players just kind of chill, sit back, and do their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
PvP, worst matchup. Maybe for you guys, but I just love watching it. So.
You get a weird boner for PvP, and he always has had a weird boner for PvP, so...
Why is it weird? I just like watching them.
Just, you have a really weird boner for PvP.
Kind of strange fetish?
Yes, it is for you.
Whatever. PvP is really random. Man. I don't think it's really boner. It's a totally legitimate boner. If you have a boner for PvP, one in chat, alright?
No. Don't know.
Both players with the gateways. And actually, the gas for...
Arazath taking a little bit earlier gas.
Double gas.
It's pretty standard.
And double gas for Howl as well. So I think we can rule out 4-gate.
Yeah, well,
unless
maybe.
It decides to like
because
stalker sentry heavy.
I was gonna say, if you go like really sentry heavy 4-gate, you see usually double gas so that you can keep up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at this point, knowing where the current meta kind of is with PvP, I think we can definitely rule that out.
Howl just has this probe here all over the base of Arazath, and he's going to be able to keep tabs on what's going on here for the whole pile. And actually, okay, both players going for the cyber core. Yeah, it's almost just mirror builds at this point. Pretty interesting. And I wonder if he's like intentionally doing that because he's actually got this probe in here checking everything out. Aggressive probe is aggressive, that's for sure. And
if you look at the timing, Howl's warp gate is going to be just a little bit sooner.
Yeah. Ooh, Stargate. Stargate from Howl. What are we going to see from Arazath in response?
Oracles.
Not that
both players go oracles and base race.
Oh no!
I bet you that happens.
I think that's a bad bet. You know, maybe that's just me though. And I'd really like to see him put photon overcharge on the Nexus to kill that probe.
No, don't waste the photon overcharge on the probe.
Or just chase it down with Mothership Core.
I was gonna say he's got a stalker on the way.
I was definitely getting there, by the way. So.
Well, you sounded serious, and it wouldn't surprise me if you were serious.
I don't know, that's that kind of shit that makes this game all sorts of fun. Did you see that death animation on that probe?
I did. It was
hilarious. And Stargate is now finished, and the Robo is going down for Arazath. So branching away from each other's identical builds there. And Oracle first, and I think Hal actually mentioned Proxy Oracle, not totally giving away his build.
Well, yeah, isn't Proxy Oracle standard? I know Cod was in the chat. He said he loves PvP, and I know why.
Mm-hmm. Codwa reppin'. I mean, come on.
Come on, Codwa.
Warp Gate. Trying to boost it out for Hal. And we see an Immortal in production for Arazath. Yeah, 2 more gateways also for Arazath. 2 more gateways for Hal, as you just mentioned. And the Oracle is out, and let's see what sort of damage it does. Is it going to run into these Stalkers? Ooh, but he does get the Xel'Naga. Is he going to be able to see it? It's going to be close, and looks like, no, he's not going to be able to catch that Oracle. He is in for a world of hurt. He has no idea that this Oracle is in the way.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how he deals with this, because there's no Stalkers back home. Like, any defense that he had from this Oracle is across the map at the moment. So that makes this kind of a... Makes it a really sticky situation. Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, I mean, I suppose he could recall the mothership core and photon overcharge or something like that, but I just think that a lot of damage is going to be done here. You see 1 probe, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, just all sorts of probes dying before that stalker was even able to completely work in there. 9 kills on that Oracle.
The tickle beams did manage to pick away at it a little bit, but yeah, that Oracle's going to get away with 10 worker kills, which is, I mean, it's paid for itself already.
Definitely. That was a great rast there out of Howl, going with that Stargate opener. Also, going ahead and grabbing Void Rays, chrono boosting those bad boys out. Going to be very effective against Stalkers if Xerath decides to keep going down that route.
Yeah, both players going to go ahead and expand.
Oh, really? And then he's going to send the Void Ray over and take care of that mothership core. Maybe, or not. But we did see Azerath expand first, so does your sentiments still span? Whoever expands first loses?
I kind of feel like so, yes.
All right, well, that awaits to be seen here.
And I mean that just in the long term, because usually in PvP it's so back and forth and kind of a razor's edge matchup where that player that expands first has expended those minerals in the expansion.
Good spoon it. I like the banter going on between these two players. It's really fun to get talking to players and get to find out a little bit more about their personality. And Oracle going back in for some more kills. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Another, even more probes dying. A few stalkers here. Are they gonna be able to take care of it? No. Or if he's not careful with it, there we go. Oh, and it's gonna pick off a few more. Photon overcharge for that Oracle, and it had 17 kills. So that Oracle was definitely
that Oracle more than paid for itself. Like, that was a really well-used Oracle in this game.
Definitely, and you can see on the units tab that we've got 33 probes for Howl and 24 for Azerath, just forcing him to push out more and more probes. So economically, Azerath is a little bit behind, although he did get that expansion up earlier. It doesn't matter at this point because of that harass from that Oracle. We have 3 Void Rays on the field right now for Howl, and there's Immortals and Stalkers for Azerath right now. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a proper response to the amount of Void Rays that are being produced. Warp Prism.
Woo! Warp Prisms are fun.
They're definitely fun to watch players use them, especially when you do kind of fun, pickups and drops and stuff mid-battle. You've got to have kind of insane micro for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, we do see Void Rays continuing just to be pumped out, and if the chat vote is correct, we should see Howl taking this game.
Oh yeah? Well, with the amount of Void Rays he's got now and the continued production of those, I honestly think they might be right.
Well, and someone in the chat, Dead Frog, said, funny thing is in PvP, when one player goes 3-gate Rover and the other goes 3-gate Stargate, the Robo player gets wrecked. And I can definitely see that with the amount of damage Void Rays do just in general.
Yeah.
And then
also
Immortals, I mean, they're considered... Are they armored? Can't tell.
Immortals, yeah, they're armored mechanical units.
So yeah, I mean, like, you get Photon Overcharge going and they just wreck everything.
Also, Nation 92, Jeff is asking us how Photon Overcharge works. Well, essentially you have an ability on the mothership core that you use on the Nexus to give it the Photon Overcharge ability. And it's just a spell. You need to have a mothership core to use it. It's not inherently on the Nexus, such as with a planetary fortress. The more you know. Ooh, and look at that Zealot harass there, and that Warp Prism that Araras did take out, and picking up those Zealots and taking right off. Not too much damage done there, just taking out a pylon, just enough to be annoying, keep Howl on his feet.
Well, yeah, and that's a lot of times that's what's going to win you PvP games in the long run, is just being annoying, being aggressive, and causing all sorts of problems.
Being a Terran player, when you're pretty much forced to just drop all over the place, Yeah. I know a lot of Protoss players that complain about that sort of stuff. And look, a few Zealots coming out for Howl. It's gonna probably not do a whole lot of damage, but I think they're there just to do some scouting.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they're definitely there, obviously, to take out a third or harass a third.
In the main of Howl, those Zealots are definitely going to be able to get some kills there, and Photon up there. And that's going to be enough to take care of these Zealots here. Though the workers killed rises to 3 for Azereth, there's still a huge lead for Howl due to that oracle earlier in the game at 18 workers killed. Oh, and look at that DT.
Uh-oh.
The DTO as it gets picked off right away. Nice placement of that observer. I've personally fallen to DTs needlessly. Kadwa can actually attest to that. You were personally there watching that game. I was very embarrassed.
That happens. It's okay. So now we do see a third coming out of both players, and yeah, again, I think the more I start to think about it and how things would work out, I'm tending to agree with the chat, and that's that the player that wins Stargate is more than likely going to win here, obviously.
Archons thrown into the mix by Howl. That's an interesting choice.
I actually think that does a really good job of solidifying this build, because you can see he only built a couple of the... Ooh, and we have another Zealot right up here.
Up to 9 worker kills, 6 more taken down for Azereth, forcing him to pull his 9 robes out of the way. Actually warping in a DT. Wow. Howl just warping in his own DT to take care of those Zealots.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I do like this build. This is definitely pushing towards that Archon Charge Thought Immortal build that was so common for a really long time. I mean, like, you've only built a few you've only built a few Stalkers and whatnot to compensate as well.
I really like the attempts from Azereth to keep himself in this game by constantly warping in these Zealots here at the main, being so annoying. And another warp in right there. The DT is going to be able to take care of him pretty quick, taking a lot of throw skills, but nonetheless getting those skills. Almost tied up with his opponent on worker skill. As Azereth is up to 17 workers killed to the 18 of Howl. Definitely what you need to be doing here after you took those losses earlier in the game, just to try to stay on top of the harassment, keep your worker count on par with your enemy. And as we can see here, 57 Harvesters to Howl's 45. He hasn't quite got that third up and running efficiently just yet. He's almost 1,600 minerals a minute for his Earth, down to 1,100 for Howl. Also his gas income is ahead as well.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you look at the upgrade count, and we have 3-1 on the way for Azereth, but only 2-2 on the way for Howl. So, I mean, Howl's going to have to engage this.
This is going to be pretty nasty.
Yeah, Howl's going to have to kind of pick his engagement here, though, as to not overdo it and overcommit. Now, granted, he does have a lot of heavy firepower in those Archons and in the Void Rays and in the Immortals, but he doesn't have a whole lot of other units to buffer damage.
By the way, we just saw a DT Shrine for Azereth, so there is no Observer here.
Prismatic Alignment does go down, picking out these Stalkers left and right. There is an Archon in the middle there.
All of those hallucinated bosses are not doing anything to battle here, but they are going to suck up some damage, which is well needed. However, the Immortal count and the Void Rays of Howl is just not obliterate their and the reinforcement DTs, there are photon cannons there, protect those forcing Archons.
Howl needs to back up. This is actually a really rough spot for him to be in. Now, there is an Archon that does finish. That Archon is probably going to get killed.
He can reinforce this pretty easily, though. I mean, these Immortals against those Zealot Warping is definitely going to put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
I should say, against Stalkers, you can do something, but Chargelets, this is just going to die.
Chargelets, that's cute.
Speedlets, Chargelets. You got a problem, son?
I do not.
They're Zealots with Chargelets.
You said Chargelets.
Chargelets.
Yeah.
Okay, like little baby ones?
Yeah, that's what I was picturing.
Okay.
With little baby zealots running around, like, swiping at stuff.
Chargelings. And just another big zealot warp in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, Azarath is pretty well evened out, so my original call of whoever expands first is going to probably lose is pretty much out the window.
I mean, I think that the harassment that he did there to try and pick away at his opponent's worker count was definitely needed, and it definitely helped him start to stabilize and get back into this game from that loss that he was at earlier. And warping in a few High Templars to get some Archons of his own.
Yeah, we do have a Zealot down here in the 4th base of Azarath, going to go ahead and pick away, kill that probe, and start to pick away at the Nexus.
Also, check out the Warpers in here. The left side, 3rd here. There is photon cannon, so that DP is not going to last too long. Just like Howl is all over that zone Zealots.
Yeah, and it actually looks like Howl is going to go ahead and just work his way into Zealot, Archon, and Void Ray. And he's going to have to catch up on the upgrades here or risk falling way, way behind. Now, we do have shields and armor on the way for Azarath. We also have level 3 weapons and armor on the way for Howl.
And Azarath wasn't able to take out that photon cannon at the dirt, so these DTs are going to be able to wreak havoc in the meantime. There's nothing worse than having a bunch of DTs in your mineral line and knowing you can do jack shit about it. You see him try to chrono boost out that observer to send it down to the 3rd, but our buddy here is going to be losing a lot of stuff in the meantime. And picking out one of those Archons. Meanwhile, there is the observer for Howl going to finally clean up these DTs.
But there's still a couple of Zealots in the main base going to go ahead and try and take out this Cybernetics Core.
And the Mothership Core arrives, trying to take all those guys.
I don't know if she's going to get it, or... Oh my god.
Whoa!
The Cyber Core dies.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And the replacement Cyber Core goes down, but wow, that really shows you how little damage the Mothership Core actually does.
And another one of Zealots in the main from Azarath. So Azarath actually able to come back in this game and just be really, really cheeky with these drops and really, really effective with these.
And DTs being used there to clean up the Zealots, I like it. Definitely applaud Azarath on his ability to continually harass his opponent with those Zealots. Meanwhile, Howl does go ahead and decide to drop down his own 4th base. Income for Azarath is, or Arazath. I think we've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Oh well, he'll get over it.
Arazath.
Yeah, it is Arazath.
Yeah, definitely skyrocketing above his opponent here after solidifies his 4th base here. Starts to,
oh, don't say that, buddy.
When you admit to stuff like that, that's when you can't come back. You know, when you lose hope, there's not a whole lot anybody can do for you.
How all you need is a probe and a chair. Have you not learned anything? Come on now.
Oh, look at the Coloxin here. The
Coloxin
and Archons and a huge wave of Zealots. I mean, just check out that supply. You know, 179 for Arazath to the 126 of Howl, and I think this push is going to be the end of Howl.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So like I said, my prediction got blown out of the water, but it was some very, very good, solid play from Azarath.
Definitely, he worked his ass off to get back into this game.
Yeah.
He does with that Mothership Core there.
So we can all, I hate to say this, but the chat was wrong too.
Oh,
Stealth player did not win. Or is on the verge of not winning. I shouldn't say it did not win, but is on the verge of not winning.
Yeah, we are going to see the final engagement here. The speed, it's all over the place. The GG from Howl. Maybe
so Howl tapping out.
Yeah, before the engagement's even done.
Yeah, I mean, it was... And Trumpet M Cool, hey buddy, welcome to the chat.
Hey, Trumpet M Cool in the chat with us today. Nice to see you. And Dead Frogs also showed up. I did not see that either. So good to have you guys here. So wow, yeah. Let's see if this game actually did put Howl on tilt. I mean, he seemed kind of frustrated there. I'm just trying to deal with all those drops and GGing out before the engagement was even finished. Sometimes kind of tells you how players are feeling at the end of the game. So yeah, I think we're going to see an interesting series here.
Yeah, we're going to have to actually see how Howl decides to come back from that. Obviously, he thought he was in a good spot. He went to engage and then just got stomped. And that's not something that you see coming, and it's not really something that you could have predicted, or I mean, you could have planned for it probably with another warp spin or so, but
he had a great early game, and he did a lot of damage earlier on, and he had a lead. That was very clear to us, but he just couldn't handle the harassment from Arazath. All right, I'm going to go ahead and predict the 4-gate. That's just me. I really want to see 4-gate on 4-gate. I know it's unlikely, but I want to see that happen. And so we are going to kick off map 2 or game 2, Belshir Vestige.
I think actually this map would be really good for a 4-gate.
You know
what? Just looking at how it lays out, it lends itself well to a 4-gate just because you can hide pylons all over the place.
Not only that, but the initial run distance is not massive as it is with other maps. And of course, when you have the forced cross spawns, there's only 2 spawn points on this map. You know exactly where your opponent is, and so you can plan for that as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and pause it here at 0 seconds.
Make sure Zero Lambda is with us. Attaboy.
All right.
So we ready?
We'll start the countdown here. 3, 2, 1, play.
All right, so spawning over here on the bottom right-hand side of Belshir Vestige, we have Arazath. I'll get it right. I will get it right.
All right. And on the top left, Belshir Vestige Ladder Edition has the green Protoss pieces, Howl.
So yeah, like I said, I think this is going to be a really good map just because of where you can hide these pylons. I think it makes it really, really conducive for 4-gates. So we're going to have to see if Howl decides he wants to come back in that fashion or not.
There are all sorts of ramps everywhere where you have the high ground that can hide things from being seen pretty easily. And there's that first pylon for Howl, and sending out that probe to do a little bit of, I guess we'll find out whether it's scouting or some other sort of shenanigans. We'll definitely be finding out here soon. Is there a specific timing you say that is, is it pretty standard to send out your initial probe after building the pylon? I assume so. It just seems like, while we have the probe out for Howl, Arazath hasn't bothered to scout his opponent just yet.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty standard to send it out after. Now, that timing may have changed, and I say that, and that's why I say, I'm pretty sure is because I haven't played enough recently.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's still standard just to send it out after either the pylon or the warp gate, depending upon what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And when do you see that scout probe for Arazath heading out over there across the map after building that gateway? And of course, the pesky uninvited party guest, probe of Howl.
We're going back to that. Wonderful.
Hey man, you got to give some blood for love here.
I was going to say, for anybody who's actually looking for that reference firsthand, go back and check out, I believe it was our second Hivemind tournament on the Hivemind YouTube, and it is there. You can hear all of the corny jokes. It's wonderful.
The probe of Howl is just kind of chilling here in the base, and he's going to be able to find out what's going on here. The double gas for both players, just like we saw in that first game. Finished for both. Cybercore for Arazath, just slightly ahead, actually slightly behind that of Howl.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you were paying attention, but the probe from Arazath did get cornered up here in the base of Howl and killed, so that scouting information, I think he did see both of these buildings go down, but I don't know if he saw the second gas. We could check, because we have vision. He did not see the second gas.
Ooh.
He knows there's a pylon warping in, and he also knows that the Cybercore is warping in, but he did not see the second gas.
Ooh, and we see from Arazath, Chrono boosting out that Warp Gate. Meanwhile, the Stargate is in production for Howl, just a little bit hidden there at the top left. He's just going to go for the same sort of thing that he did last time. We'll see how well it works. I mean, I don't know if the same tricks going to work on Arazath. Also, did you catch if these players, or if Howl at least went random? Because I know at the beginning of the last game, Howl said he wished he got Terran. I'm not sure if he was playing that.
I did not catch that. I am not 100% sure. It wouldn't surprise me. We've seen a lot of people in the...
Dude, look at this early Twilight Council, too.
From...
Arazath there, just about done.
Oh, there we go. So I'm expecting a DT opener.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I think that, yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's either that or Blink, but DT is the more... the more well-known and actually more feasible thing for a lot of players, just because there's not as much micro to it.
Definitely. The Oracle is just about finished here for Howl, and I think, as we saw last time, he does have a couple Stalkers out, but he's going to send that out towards an Astral and probably even for other to do some damage. And just the same thing that we saw last time. Take some damage there.
I'm impressed. We're seeing a Blink opener out of Arazath. So no DT is going to come out of Arazath. The Stargate is out of Howl. The first Oracle is out. And the Mothership Core and a Stalker are going to go ahead and try and work their way across the map to try and see what's going on.
Ooh. 2 more gateways going down. It's just going to be a Blink 4-gate. A delayed 4-gate push with Blink. I don't know.
Maybe.
And here comes the Oracle. And this is going to do some damage that Arazath does not. Mothership Core out of place. No photon overcharge. And
so I just have to... I have to give Faust a shout out. Azarath is apparently.
But the R and the Z are not that way. It's Arazath here. That's how it's spelled.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Faust is getting all cranky on us. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I are good at English. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We have more Stalkers coming out on the board.
And 2 more gateways finished.
Now,
Howl's own Twilight Council going down, still on 1 base. I don't know, man. This is going to be a crazy game.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Still waiting for that 4th gate, but I don't know if we're going to actually see that. We do have a probe heading out here across the map. I think to probably place down a proxy pylon here. And that Oracle saving itself. Those things are just too damn fast, and I don't think they handle light cows.
They don't anymore. They don't anymore. And the Dark Shrine does go down for Howl.
So Howl's right?
Yeah, I was gonna say anytime Dark Shrine.
Anytime Dark Shrine, huh?
Anytime Dark Shrine.
So I'd like to see that Mothership Core head up there for the Stalkers for some vision to lose Blake. Oh no.
And this Oracle going to take out 15 probes before it's killed by the combination of a Stalker and the Mothership, or the Mama Cannon.
Only 3 less probes than I got last time, so still a very devastating attack with that Oracle. Arazath is down to 12 workers. We've got 21 for Howl. Howl definitely in the lead economically, and that Dark Shrine is about 3/4 of the way done, and so if he's able to get those DTs out before these Blink Stalkers move in, it's going to be pretty devastating against the push here.
Yeah, and I don't think... Oh wow, they can link up that. I wasn't sure if Stalkers can link up that or not. That is
great photon overcharge there as well.
Yeah, driving everything away.
Also got to remember that Howl's Stalkers are +1 attack. Put an advantage.
Mothership Core did go down, though, and we have 2 DTs on the board for Howl, which are going to come across the map and do a lot of damage as they're going to find a really exposed base when they get to the other side.
Oh, no. Well, we still do have the Mothership Core for Arazath here. Chilling with these Stalkers here, but yeah, that Photon Overcharge is going to cause some problems to play this push quite a bit. He's got his own Dark Templar, and that... It swung. I don't know if he knows that's there yet, but these DTs that are going to head into the base of Arazath are definitely causing problems. I think he knows. He drops the Robo. think this is just gonna be so bad for Arazath. He sees those DTs cloaked. He's pulling everything. He's just gonna go ahead and snipe the Robo. Great call.
That is a great call. Oh, sad day.
Almost saving it.
And did Howl get saved in this game by 2 DTs?
Oh my gosh.
I think he did. And Artosis has entered the building.
Almost.
No, he empowered the Cyber Player. I'd call that Artosis. There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
So now, Arazath.
Fell so many times for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go.
We have
Arazath falling back. The series is now tied 1-1. We're into a best of 3.
Just the one base play out of both players. I don't know. I thought that was really entertaining. We don't need to have a 25-minute, 30-minute macro game to have a good viewing experience. Like the Oracle opener into DT still on one base is like, what is that?
Well, yeah, that was really well played actually by both players. It was just a small oversight that cost Arazath that game. Because Detector's a good unit, man. Detector's a good unit.
Of course. And hiding that DT shrine, of course, just helps him out there. All right. I'm going to go on to game 3 here. I'm actually trying to load the chat once again. Twitch is having a stupid moment right now.
See, now my chat's fine. I don't know what your problem is.
I think there we go. I don't know. Which is just being really stupid. Okay, there we go. There's the chat. All right, Catwa Heart DTs, of course. You can see that one coming. Okay, so let's get into game 3. Zero, do you need a break? You good? Sweet. I will
Zero,
a little bit behind you guys.
You've been uber quiet. Are you doing okay over there? Do you need a hug?
He's just mortified due to the bed shitting that happened earlier today.
He probably is.
Yeah, that's totally it. You know, it's not like I'm muting so you guys can cast or anything. I'm very, very scared right now. Those DTs, man. DTs make me cry, and I'm Protoss.
I'm actually gonna have to use the restroom real quick.
Come on.
Trust me, it's not gonna take too long. Come on, you did it with your dog like 3 times. So I think you owe me this. I'm staying at 0 seconds, okay?
Not 3 times. I had to go pick my wife up, and then I took the dog out. It's
Twice.
all good.
Or 3 times.
No, once. Once in this cast. But, you know, if you saw how cute he is, like, laying over on the bed right now, I think you'd forgive him.
You think you'd forgive him?
If I had a camera, I would, like, hold him up to the camera.
What breed?
He is a Shih Tzu Maltese. He is, like, 5.5 years old, and we adopted him 2 years ago, the August after we got married.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we were in a small 1-bedroom apartment, so we really didn't want a big dog.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely adorable. And you can put me on the record as saying I'm a small dog guy after having this dog.
Really?
So yeah.
Interesting.
All right. We return.
Good.
Are we ready?
All right.
You ready for the countdown?
Count us down.
Frost, my wife and dog are not killing esports right now.
They kill esports on a pretty regular basis.
No, my dog kills esports on a regular basis.
Dude,
can we have a quick story time? Can I like explain that?
Well, dude, whenever I speak to you on BattleNet, it ends up being Desiree, and so I feel like that's killing my.
Well, she likes to play WoW. Okay, she enjoys it.
One day she will stop posing as Ken.
I know. Small story time, or do we need to go?
Let's hear a story.
Okay, so this story is the first time my dog killed esports. And it happened 2 years ago when we were in that 1-bedroom apartment, and he was just getting used to the house itself. So of course he wanted to come sit up on my lap all the time, and he would just get up and he would like sniff around and whatever. And I was watching MLG like a normal person at that point. And what does he decide to do? He decides to sniff something up on my desk, and I had my finger on Alt because I was Alt tabbing to go look at something. And he hit F with his paw and closed the stream, closed everything. So that was the very first instance of my dog killing esports, and he's been doing a damn good job of it ever since.
Wow.
So now with that story out of the way, we're caught up.
Such Doge.
I know, right?
Much Alt F4.
So yeah, that's like I said, that's.
I'm happy to hear he's made a career out of it.
That's right, he is. He is a lifelong esports killer.
All right. So, you ready for the countdown?
I am ready whenever you guys are.
0 good to go? I'm assuming so. All right. So 3, 2, 1, play.
All right. Spawning a player on the top side of Polar Knight LE. I was about to say top left, but I didn't get there. We have Arazath.
And on the bottom right is the green Protoss pieces. Oh, the bottom, excuse me. Fuck it. Fuck it. We got to restart, man.
No, we're not doing it. We can't do this. We're gonna do it live.
You got to cover the rest of this.
We gotta do it live. So Howl's playing here on the bottom side of the map. Howl gonna go ahead for his first pylon as his opponent.
Okay.
Are you okay? Have you composed yourself again?
I think so.
All right.
Also, 0, I don't know what you were talking about because actually, maybe it's because this is a replay, but you see the snow still falling on the map right now. So I know you mentioned to me earlier that the new patch. That's okay. That's what I was asking is if the new patch got rid of that. Yeah, these were played pre-patch, so that would make sense.
What's going on pre-patch?
Apparently, after the patch, they got rid of the snow effects that you might see floating around the screen here. I'm not sure why, but it was imbalanced and people were.
That's right.
Probably pissed off that it was clouding their vision.
Well, Dustin Browder was just mad that it wasn't floating rocks, and he wanted to take it out.
That is a possibility.
So first gateway is coming down for both players. Timings look about identical at this point, so we're seeing pretty identical builds. I'll be interested to see, though, if we go back into one base play like we had last time.
Yeah, who's going to go for the double gas this time? We see the first gas out for Arazath.
And double gas for Howl going down.
Of course.
And Howl with the uninvited party guest up here in the top.
Of course. I mean, he's always uninvited, and he's just always barging right in and ruining the fun here.
That's right. He's eating all the salsa and chips and just like...
He's taking an upper decker in the bathroom. I mean...
That's right.
Obviously, nobody wants Hal Probe in your party here, and Arazath is, I guess he's cool with it, though. I mean, he's not really doing much about it, and he hasn't for the past few games, and actually getting his own second gas. So, we're in game 3, and they have double gas open actually all 3 games.
And Arazath, not again.
Not again.
It will not be this day.
Oh, no.
So we get another patrol path coming out of Howl. And it is kind of interesting to note that Arazath going for 2 probes in each geyser instead of the full 3. So wanting a lot of gas really quickly, but not wanting to completely saturate, as his opponent is actually fully saturated on both.
And there is the Chrono Boost on Arazath's Warp Gate. Mothership 4 is on the way.
And a Stargate out of Howl.
Again.
So again, we come back to the comment about players being really comfortable with their builds, and I mean
this reminds me of when I was in Silver League and Wings of Liberty. And all I would do is 3 racks every single game. I don't care if it was Terran Zerg or Protoss. I would 3 racks, and I would fucking do it well.
Hey,
that was my bread and butter.
I think we found our name for the Felicity Cup.
What's that?
3 racks or die trying.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Hey, we got it. We got that settled. And a facility coming out of Arazath.
So pretty similar to what we saw last game. I mean, the game prior to that. Excuse me. The double gas into the Robo, and is this just going to be a repeat of game 1? I don't know.
I kind of feel like it will be, and at the same time, it may mirror a lot of what we saw last game too. I mean, like it seems like both of these players. Oh nope, there we just went and blew that right out of the water.
Oh, getting that expansion just ruined our expectations, but that's fine. I'm actually interested to see if Arazath has learned anything from the past 2 games and actually kind of scouts for the Oracle, which is now on its way.
Well, in that way,
he's got a stalker there.
Oh shoot, this is not good. Though we've seen Immortal coming out, Although, well, there's no DPs on the board.
Oh, and he pulls the Stalker away from the mineral line, but it is still relatively close, I think. But
he does have the Mothership Core there, and there's enough energy on that Mothership Core to go ahead and do the Photon Overcharge. So right now, actually, he is just fine, because the Stalkers did move back to be able to pinch anything in here between the two damage sources. And
preparing for what is about to happen. He gets 2 kills with that Oracle before setting it out of there. Definitely handling that a little bit better.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I think he's got his opponent pretty well pinned on a build, and he knew exactly what he needed to do to deal with it.
That expansion out of Howl. He himself is no longer committed to the one-base play, man. But that proxy pylon, we will see how he makes use of it.
DTs. I'm going to call it DTs.
All right.
Mass. Marine. There's 3.
3 more gateways there for Arazath. And 2 forges actually going down. If they're going to get on top of those upgrades.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how both these players follow up after last time. If Howl continues to go Stargate, or if he decides to transition into something else. Now, we do have a second Oracle on the way from Howl.
That's really interesting. I wonder why he's going with the Oracle instead of the Void Rays, just to add to his normal composition.
Well, I think he realizes at this point his opponent didn't have any cannons down.
Yeah.
Nor does Arazath have any...
There's definitely the possibility of reading your opponent and, saying, hey, Arazath pretty much denied that initial Oracle very well. I wonder if he thinks, that the aggression's over, though. I don't know if that's going to hold true, because this Oracle here at the natural was just shot at, so Arazath doesn't know that it's there.
He knows that there's Oracle still out on the board, but he doesn't know that there's 2. There's still like that lack of information, and actually there is an observer. I don't know if that observer knows that Oracle was there.
There is a possibility that he caught it, but there's always a possibility that he didn't, just because he's busy doing other things. But yeah, this Oracle is going to head over here to the main base. The Mothership Core is still there for Photon Overcharge, has enough energy for it. The Stalker is taken to the natural, and there is...
We have a... Oh my... Choo-choo.
You think so, huh?
Choo-choo.
Yeah.
There's really nothing he can do about it either. He has 2 gateways.
Yeah, the observer sees everything. He sees there's nothing here at the natural. I think this is going to be pretty damaging, though.
Yeah.
If the Oracle Micro can keep Arazath busy.
You know what? I think this is a rough spot. Oh, and he's moving the Mothership Core away. He has enough energy to Photon Overcharge, but he does have 2 Stalkers there to go ahead and deal with this.
Oracles are definitely annoying, and I think it's a good choice by Howl to actually use those to pick off the probes of your opponent and try to at least keep on par as far as income and macro goes. But this is a pretty big push at the natural of Howl's base, considering that Howl really has nothing to stop this.
And the push starts to break down the door. Force fielding the ramps, no reinforcements can come down. But with only 2 warp gates, this is going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah, it looks like these zealots are going to get picked up pretty easily. Photon Overcharge, actually enough to push Arazath back.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just wait for it to run out. It's down to a 40-second duration now, down from a minute. So, it's...
It allows you to reinforce, and at the same time, it does allow Howl to actually try to prepare for the next push. But I think definitely Arazath has an advantage here, especially because of those 2 gateways. And we see 3 more going down for Howl.
Yeah, and actually we have an Archon forming in. I'm assuming there's a Dark Shrine. No, actually a Templar Archives down. There are 3 more gateways being warped in at the top of the base for Howl, but I don't think it's going to last. Oh, and some nice force fields.
Great force fields there.
Buy himself a little bit more time, actually.
And that's really what he needs right now. He needs as much time as he can get. He's got plenty of energy on those sentries to keep out his opponent while those 3 gateways are finished, but we will see if it's actually enough time to hold Arazath at bay.
Yeah, Arazath is sitting outside the front with a lot of units. But he's letting them in.
They are going to destroy that natural expansion.
This is a sad day. It's a sad day to be a unit in Howl's army.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof.
And the natural.
Natural does fall. Oh dear.
But he's got them upgrades, man. Chrono boosting out 2 weapons and 2 armor.
And charge.
Meanwhile, Arazath has 0-0-0 across the board.
Oh,
and
we do have the counterattack.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of rough to deal with, considering your army is across the map. You have no mothership port. No, he does have a mothership
Arazath
port.
actually decides to pull everything back to deal with this, but I
Mass
think...
recall? Are we going to see a mass? No, we're not going to see a mass recall. Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
It does look like he is going to lose his natural, though. Says, hey, you killed mine. I'm just going to be a cheap little bastard, and I'm going to steal yours.
You know, with that, though...
We're back to 1 base.
Yay, 1 base play.
So, effectively, this is what we expect. 1 base play, both of these Protoss players. So, this still is a lot of stuff for Arazath. He might have lost that base. It doesn't mean much when he's still got several Immortals and all kinds of stalkers here. And really, you know, he could push right now and do a lot of damage here. We do see some Archons here for Howl, so he's not screwing around himself. But interesting to see where the players go from here.
Yeah, I think definitely trying to take back that natural is a good move
DT
for...
Shrine.
Or,
See that?
what?
The
Where?
DT Shrine is just completed for Arazath, as well as the Robo Bay on the way.
Arazath doing a good job at retaking that natural. His opponent not doing the same, however. He is
Look at
saving up
that.
some money.
The Warp Prism at the bottom in the main of Howl, and there's 1 DT.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
This
no.
is going to be rough.
That is excellent by Arazath. Definitely trying to find any way to set back the opponent. There is absolutely no detection.
Oh my goodness, this is rough.
There's no Robo, so no Observer, no Cannons. He's just going to lose everything.
Oh no.
This is not good at all.
That is not how you want to go out in a game.
He just wants to...
Not at all.
Really, he should just push... Oh, and he brings back the Oracle. Wow. I've totally forgot about that in Vision.
Yeah, I think...
It's actually very useful for, you know, situations like that. But there still was a lot of damage done there. He's down to 10 turns. Decides to go ahead and push. Arazath has finished that Nexus there and is trying to stabilize on 2 bases.
Yeah, I agree. And Arazath at this point just needs to continue to warp stuff in, and he's actually going to be completely fine.
Howl definitely has the advantage here with the Zealots. I mean, 2-2 upgrades and charge. There are just so many units here in Arazath.
Although those Archons doing a lot of damage.
Arazath actually worked in a few defensive DTs, and those are actually going to do quite a bit of damage here, taking out one of the Archons for the Sentries and another Archon.
Oh my god, they are doing work.
3 kills and 5 kills each. And those defensive DTs definitely did their job there. Damn DTs, GG.
And Howl dropping game number 3, so Arazath back to a 2-1 lead in this series.
Definitely good stuff right there. I mean, that's what I love about PvP. It might be frustrating to play, but it's just always fun to watch the different dynamic stuff that can go on there. I don't know. What do you think about PvP? I know you realize that I've got a boner for the matchup, but
the matchup itself, like, realistically sucks to play. It is very, very rock paper scissors, at least in my mind. There are some people that would disagree, and more power to them, but I still feel like it's a very, very rock paper scissors oriented matchup.
yeah, and that's something that Scipio has actually told me about. You know, he feels that the game has become, at least the PvP matchup has become what we just saw. A lot of that sort of stuff in the ladder. He just doesn't quite enjoy playing that sort of stuff, which, you know, I guess that when the meta goes one way, you can't really stop it. So
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of do what you can, and you hope for the best from there.
all right. We ready to go on to game 4?
We better, because the daily's about to begin too. So we got to
that is all right. We've got 13 minutes before the daily starts, so
load her up.
let's load up this replay here.
Load her up. Let's go.
I'm going. All right.
Woo.
I'm sure we'll still have some people hang out here with us, despite the daily going on and stuff. But
What's up?
I'm sure we'll still have some people hanging out here in the chat while the daily goes on.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's always nice to
Exactly.
day 9.
Yeah, exactly. And this is also our last series of the night, so
Yeah, definitely. And do you want to, while we're loading into this and getting prepped, do you want to talk about the possible change in schedule or extension of schedule to accommodate?
Yeah. I guess we can. Let's just go through that while we're doing the initial plugs at the first few minutes of the game.
Okay.
So you guys ready? Can I count down?
I go for it.
3, 2, 1, play. All right. Spawning here on the top right of Yansu Ladder Edition, we have our Protoss player in the yellow, up 2-1 in this series, Arazath.
And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand side of Yansu, spawning as the green Protoss player. He is Howl.
All right. Considering the huge explosion in popularity of the DKL from Season 1 over to Season 2, we have a lot more work to do and a lot more replays to get through. I think round 1 of the Season 1 was 4 or 5 series. I think it was 5, and we have 12 series for round 1 of Season 2. So it's going to take us a little bit longer to get through them, and thus we are thinking about adding another day to the schedule for casting DKTL, so possibly going to 2 days a week. We'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. I don't think we've nailed down a time or day just yet, but definitely tune back into the channel and we'll have it updated as soon as possible for you guys. And as always, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Faust, you take care, buddy. I saw your message about your grandma, and you take all the time you need.
Definitely. And also a big shout out to you for putting all this together. Of course, we know it's a lot of work, and you just plug right through it despite the hiccups here and there.
So, jumping back into the game after all that, we do see a double gas out of Arazath.
And double gas out of Howl. Really, either one of these players you can call the double gas for in game 4.
That's right.
Pretty much the same exact openings that we've seen, at least 2.5 minutes in the game. You wouldn't be able to tell any of these games from the other.
And Howl with the probe corner over here.
Oh, wow.
And the probe from Howl gonna just kind of chill up here again.
Of course. And we will see if the initial probe from Arazath actually gets caught again in that last game. So it's not actually there just yet, but again, well, come on.
For Coach 21, these are best of 5 series, so we're in game 4 of this one.
Oh, yeah. And Arazath is up 2-1. So Howl does have to win this game or he loses the series. They are sacrificial probes.
That's right.
So that's really what it comes down to. They're just there for information. And pretty much, I mean, at this point, Howl has done the exact same thing early in the game. We'll see if he actually goes for Stargate again. If he does, I will commend him for sticking to one build that he knows well, but I will also ridicule him for not changing his strategy up no matter how many times it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, like, he definitely needs to change something up. Obviously, there's something not working for him in this series that he needs to find. And I hope as Season 2 progresses, we actually see him progress and fix these things.
And it's something to be said for actually being in a best-of-5 tournament environment is that, the sort of stuff you do on the ladder doesn't exactly work. You can do the same build on the ladder over and over and over again, but you have different opponents in this. Your opponent isn't exactly going to know what's coming. Oh, and he does decide to change it up. He just goes for that Nexus there, no Stargate. So yeah, already we're seeing a difference in the build here.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's good to throw little changes in like this. If you're in Howl's spot, definitely what you're looking to do is you're you're looking to change something up and hope that it works. And if you're Arazath, you're hoping to change something up just to continue to push through like you have been.
You see that Twilight Council out of Howl? I think he's gonna go give
Straight DT?
Arazath, give him a taste of his own medicine there, and just go for straight DT.
So,
I don't know.
Are we thinking DTs? Or are we thinking?
I'm gonna go ahead and call DTs. I mean, we see that Howl is very frustrated with DTs over the past couple games, and he might just be content to use them against his opponent. However, the past few games we have seen Arazath go for the Robo opening, and so he does have that Robo for detection.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, he got the TC for quick charge.
Oh, there we go. So, can we call this the Scipio build? I mean, like, and I'm not saying that as anything bad, but it just seems like he really likes his charge lots. So I mean, like, it seems like it would be a pretty standard thing to see.
Yeah, especially out of Scipio, always going with those speedlets. And what's so damn funny, man?
Speedlets.
They're zealots with speed, and they're not babies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is there
babies.
Is there such a thing as baby zealots? I mean, I have to ask that question.
I don't know. I mean, how do they have babies?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're not getting into Protoss anatomy. That is.
I was gonna say I don't know much about Protoss anatomy. Somebody in the chat who might be a bigger StarCraft nerd than we are, give us some answers as far as what baby zealots look like.
As I mentioned, Protoss anatomy, my wife's eyes just get big. She's probably like, what in the fuck are you guys talking about over there?
We're not exactly furries. I don't know what you'd call that if you read that sort of thing. They're not really animals, you know.
That's true. So we do see 4 gateways and a Robo out of Azerath. Arazath. Oh my god, I'm having a horrible time trying to pronounce that. It's not that hard.
And really, it just rolls off the tongue a lot easier if it was Azerath, but Arazath takes some effort to say, so it's excusable, okay? You don't have to worry about it. Alright, yeah, we're getting into pronunciation.
Yep, we are.
And we have a very exciting game here to watch. What are we doing?
Well, we do see a double forge out of Arazath, and a Templar Archives out of Howl, along with 4 gateways total.
And Arazath sees all of it without Observer.
I was going to say, there is an Observer, and actually it's 5 gateways.
That's a lot of gateways. I think he's just going to go for Archons, man. And there goes the 6th gateway, 7th gateway, and the 8th gateway, all off of 2 bases.
Oh my goodness.
And I think this is an all-in, man. And we see the probe here on the top of the map. Yeah, that proxy pylon there. Definitely going for a big push here.
So, are we seeing another choo-choo? Is this a choo-choo?
There's no Immortals, man.
I mean, look at Arazath. I mean, like, this is definitely a choo-choo.
Oh, from Arazath, the choo-choo from Arazath. I thought you meant the choo-choo.
This is no. I've been looking at yellow this entire time.
Okay, well, I think that there's there is a possibility for the choo-choo.
There is, and we do see 1 Archon out of Howl.
And the Warp Prism, just to top it all off.
God, so much Warp Prism.
Warp Prism and the DT Shrine. Of course. And the proxy pylon for Howl is complete here, and he's got a bunch of zealots with charge. This is just like...
this is going to be a sad day, though. Now we have a DT Shrine coming down from Arazath.
This is just a +1 charge timing, I suppose, from Howl here. He's definitely got a lot of gateways, and he can pump out a lot of units here. There's a huge zealot warp in to add to this, though. Arazath did not catch that with that Warp Prism, but this is going to do a whole lot of damage here with the DT warp in.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got to go in with these zealots here.
Yeah, I mean, he sends 1 into scout just to see what's happening, but I think it's a little too late.
We will see here the DT Shrine is 20 seconds out, and that is just going to be... It's going to be devastating for Howl once again.
And the mothership core coming out to catch this proxy pylon.
So Howl is actually creating an observer, but it is rallied all the way up here. So I don't know, man. It still could be pretty hurtful.
Yeah, this is going to be hit or miss. It depends on whether he actually catches that there's a Warp Prism in his base or not. If he doesn't catch it, obviously it's going to be really bad.
And of course, the defensive DTs from Arazath himself.
And here we go.
Oh. We'll count to see how many kills the DTs get, because there is no detection here. The Arazath's natural control power. Yeah, with that photon overcharge with DTs, they're doing a lot of damage, but this is just a devastating push. These Archons in charge, the DTs, oh, they're doing so much damage.
Yeah, those DTs are really the savior of the day. I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of charge locks running through the front, but you get defensive warpins, you get a bunch of DTs in the mix. I mean, like, I don't think Howl's going to be able to hold out here.
I don't think so. This push is just absolutely crushed.
Yeah, this push is crushed right now. There's another warpin coming in, but Howl choosing to hold up, probably wait. So, there's a high Templar. But
he does have an observer this time. However, the Warp Prism is moving into the natural of Howl, warping in 2 Dark Templar. 3 Dark Templar, and this base is probably going to fall. Howl can't build it quick. See,
I do like this play a lot, using the DTs as a distraction, coming up with the Immortal and picking off that pylon. That was a really good play by Arazath.
It was. That was really good. He's got 2 other backup pylons here.
And the DTs in the main.
Oh, no.
Away.
Oh,
Look
no.
at this. We have a 7 and a 10 kill DT.
Those are some hero DTs right there. And the thing is, he did have the protection, but it's just out of place right now, and he's got the observer there, the natural. It's just going to be able to pick away those 2 DTs there, but still, there's so much damage being done all over the place right now. Still a DT in the main as well.
There's 2 of them up
2
there in the main.
DTs.
Up to 4 and 6 kills, so that's 34 workers killed.
Howl doesn't even care anymore. He just pushes into the natural. There's Archon Zealot army, and actually doing quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, but I think those DTs, that's going to be the death knell, really.
Definitely. He loses the main and the natural, and he doesn't have enough money to build the base. So that is definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like, Arazath, he may be a little bit hurt from this, but he can definitely continue to warp in units, and this is a really rough spot for Howl.
Both of these players, I mean, I don't want to say they're gimmicky, but, I mean, throughout the series, we have seen a lot of this kind of, not exactly cheesy, but just kind of using exploits, weaknesses in your opponent, and not actually ever playing out a full macro game. Fuck! Oops! I think you totally forgot that is.
Oh, that's a sour way to go out in a series. And we did see the push from Howl get cleaned up.
This is definitely GG. We're just waiting for the confirmation from Howl here. There's the GG.
And there it is. So Arazath taking this series 3-1.
Definitely well played by both players. I would say neither of these were completely one-sided. Both of them holding their own, at least for a little while. So
Yeah, definitely.